These thoughts up in my head. Things I never did. I took some L's, but I'm still here.
I got these thoughts up in my head. I toss and turn about some things I never said. I got regrets about some things I never did. I took some risks and took some L's, but I'm still here. And I know.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Overthinking Thoughts Pod. I'm your host, editor, as always. Journey with me as we pursue greatness in a world full of chaos. We are here another week. We are at episode 67. It has been a journey. We have grown, we have learned, and we are still going. So, as always, I want to thank each and every one of you for supporting me throughout this process, through the new episodes, through the posts on Instagram, TikTok, all that. Thank you so much. If you noticed, I'm wearing a really cool shirt. So if you're listening, what am I trying to say? If you're listening, audio, if you're doing the audio, you're not going to see it. So I need you to hop over on the visual and make sure that you do that, because if you do, you're going to be able to see this amazing shirt, which is brought to you by the good folks over at Urban Royalty Brand. So make sure you go over on Instagram and follow them at Urban Royalty Brand. I'll drop the IG in the description of this video. How about that? So we'll make sure that we do that. I might even do the thing where we, what do you call it? I might just add it in here, like right here. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, so I'm excited to be doing another episode. As always, if you are new here, just remember that we are pursuing greatness in a world full of chaos. The world is crazy. A lot of chaos going on in the world. We're just trying to do our best to try to eliminate anxiety and doubt, fear, all the things that take us away from the greater good that is put inside of us. So we're doing our best to make it. And I want to say a special shout out to everybody who has commented, left a message, shared. It feels like this week there's been a lot of activity in just some of the things that I posted. So I thank you all so much for getting the word out. Like, it really means a lot to me. It lets me know that what I'm saying to you means something. And I truly appreciate your support. How can you support? Well, first thing I want you to do is go on over to YouTube. You're going to type in Overthinking Thoughts Pod. You're going to find the logo that was designed by the good folks at Urban Royalty Brand. And then you're going to go ahead and subscribe to that channel so you can see all the videos that have been posted from episode 1 when I had a McDonald's headset all the way, not actually, but all the way up to this episode. You'll be able to see all those things. So if there's topics and things that you want to catch up on, that'd be a good time. Go back, refresh. Even if you've seen it, go back and see it again. It might be something in there for you that's going to help you out at this part of life. So make sure you do that. Then I need you to go ahead and jump over on social media. So if you got an Instagram page, you can catch me over on IG at Overthinking Thoughts Pod. You can also do the same at TikTok at Overthinking Thoughts Pod. Make sure that you follow, share the videos, like, comment, whatever you need from our podcast. We want to make sure that we give it to you. Shout out to all the new followers over at TikTok. We are slowly getting to 400 followers, which is crazy to say, because I never thought I'd have that many. So we're pushing 350 something now, but let's try to get up to 400. Instagram, I got to go back and check. I think it's like 1 something. So we get that to 200. That'd be great. So tell a friend to tell a friend, and I will stop rambling and get into what we need to talk about. Okay. This week we're going to talk about mental toughness. Now, for me personally, I have heard this phrase so many times, basically since a youth, through every basketball practice, every basketball coach, every basketball player that I know has always talked about mental toughness. And I'm glad that I picked up on it back then, because it has helped me so much moving forward now, especially now that, with 2 sons, one that's getting ready to experience the teenage years and really trying to figure out where he belongs, what he wants to do, finding his identity and things like that. It is so important to keep your mental strong. And more importantly for us as adults, or if you're a young adult, if you are still in high school, if you start in college, if you are a person with kids, whatever, like, it is so important for you to keep your mental strong and have a quote unquote mental toughness attitude. Now, that doesn't mean that with toughness, I think we're always thinking about, physical strength and not backing down from anybody and just showing that we're stronger than others. That's different. What I mean is mentally staying strong in the midst of everything that you face, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's adversity, whether it's opportunity, whether it's growth, or whether you have fallen. How do you respond to the things that you are seeing in life? And a lot of what this has come from is just different things that I've seen in life is and a lot of like just some of the basketball games that I've been coaching recently with my son. We've had a lot of conversations about just the importance of staying mentally strong when everything around you seems to be, for lack of better words, chaotic. And so I phrase that by saying, I don't know where you are in your life right now. I don't know what you're dealing with. I don't know what has come your way. I hope that it's been blessings, but if it's been challenges, if you feel like you're in a storm, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're in a rut, I'm going to tell you not to give up. And I'm going to tell you to look into your mind, look into the mental, and ask yourself, how do I analyze this situation and turn it into something that can inspire me, that can motivate me, that can lift me out of this dark space, and that can get me to an area where I can be successful. And I think a lot of times what happens is we look at, well, one of the things that we do is we look at certain things that come our way. So storms or bad events, whatever the case may be. And instead of looking at it as an opportunity to find growth, we look at it as very damaging. We already kind of count it as a loss for us. We instantly turn to negativity and we turn to, self doubt rather than looking at it from an experience of growth. I was talking to a friend of mine. We were having this conversation about overthinking. And I was talking to her and I said, well, instead of looking at a situation like what if you looked at it as what an opportunity for me to grow? If the adversity is set up to try to make you fail, what can we do to overcome that so that way we can learn from the situation, grow within our personal lives, and then use that knowledge to address everything else that we face? Because imagine what happens when you stand up to something that you felt was meant to destroy you and you conquer it. That means that every other obstacle that you face moving forward is going to be looked at as more of an opportunity more than an obstacle. And you have to stay positive in how you move, even when the things around you seem so negative. That's how you don't get rattled. That's how you don't get knocked down. And that's how you can keep your crown on when you continue to move forward in greatness. There are going to be times where things are going to come your way and it's going to seem like no matter what you do, you're just in a dead end, you're in a rut, you feel stuck. So how do we manage that when things go wrong? Now, I'll be honest with you, one of the things that I've always done is complain about it mentally and kind of like keep it to myself, which is not healthy. But a strategy that I've learned in staying focus mentally in situations that are a little challenging. I try to look at what's real, I look at what's true, and I separate what's true from what my thoughts are in the sense of what is this story that I've created over here and how has this impacted what's actually true? Because the story can hold so much weight that it will drown out the truth, and I won't get to the point where looking at the truth, I won't believe in it. I'll believe the story I created more so than I believe the truth. So therefore, we have to be careful in how we create these thoughts in our mind of when we face things in order to give us an opportunity to actually grow through it. If we're already defeating ourselves before we've even taken the first step, we're never going to get to the finish line. In fact, we're never going to finish the race because we've already decided before they shot off the starting gun that we weren't going to make it anyway. It's all in how you talk to yourself. It's all in how you believe in yourself. And more importantly, it's all in how you face the adversity. The adversity is what's going to help you grow. The adversity is put there, but just imagine what happens if you face it and you stand on the other side of that. How much stronger do you become? I had this conversation with one of the kids that I coach. Now, this kid is probably the strongest kid on our team in the sense of how tough he is mentally. Now, he takes a charge almost every game. He get knocked on the floor. He goes against the guys that are bigger than him. He'll play defense on anybody. He's coachable, and more importantly, he doesn't like to fail. And if he does make mistakes or if he messed up on something, he forgets and he comes right back to it. And if he catches himself kind of like drifting into it, he'll just be like, I got to just keep focused. Then he'll go back out there and it's the next play, the next play, the next play. And so I had this conversation with him and I said, hey, man, I got to ask you, when you're in a game, you're getting knocked down and obviously you're getting frustrated. You're not getting a lot of fouls called your way and you're, bruised up a little bit, but you just go back out there and just make the next play. Like, why do you do that? And his answer was simple. He said, I want to win. And this determination to win is so impactful. Like, your determination to win has to be so strong that no matter what they put in front of you, it doesn't destroy you. That no matter what the enemy tries to plan, it won't prosper. That no matter what people say, it doesn't take effect. That no matter what people do, it can't impact the path that you're walking. Your feeling of winning has to succeed their feelings of wanting to see you fail. And the sad part is there's a lot of people that want to bring you down. There's so many of them. But how can you bring down something that was destined to rise and be great anyway? That's what God intended. Put it in your heart to be successful. So why would you let the enemy dictate what God has already planned for you? It doesn't really make sense when you think about it from that standpoint. But I do understand that there are times where it just seems tough. Like, no matter where we go, there's that dark cloud that's over our head and we just keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. It just seems like no matter how far we go, there's no breakthrough. Now, I've talked about how we don't want to quit before we get to the breakthrough. The reality is that you never know when a breakthrough is going to happen, but you should always be prepared to keep going forward, even when it does happen. Because if you're just settling for the aha moment and you don't follow up with it, then there was really no purpose of you achieving it. But if you get it, and it's like, this is what I've been pulling you to, and now you're here, now what are you going to do with it? It's like, I used to tell the kids in tryouts, I said, the trying out was the easy part. You worked hard to get there, but that was the easy part. Now, can you stay consistent in the practices? Can you stay consistent, throughout school and when we got to travel and when we got, home games? Can you eliminate all the distractions? Can you stay focused on the goal that's in front of you? Or are you going to allow the outside interference dictate how you operate? And the crazy part is some of us thrive on negative energy. Now, I might be calling you out on this, but it's like you thrive on if people tell you can't do anything. You thrive on, if people are doubting you and telling you that you're nothing. You like it to an extent, but you're using it in such a negative way because then every time you look at somebody, you're hoping that they count you out. But you also got to hope that at some point you find people that actually want to see you be successful. That's another part about being mentally tough, is surrounding yourself with people who want to see you grow, who want the best for you, and aren't afraid to tell you when you slacking or when you messing up. You find that village of people that if you start to get off track, they come to you and be like, hey, look, I don't know what you're doing, but you wilding out. Get back to where you need to be. It's good to have people like that. Because sometimes we think we could do this whole thing by ourselves. The reality is we got people that get sent to us all the time that can help us. But it's up to us to decide on if we're actually going to use the help or if we're going to bat it away. And I would advise you strongly not to push away the people that actually want to see you succeed, because at the end, when all else fails, they'll be the ones that are still going to be standing with you through thick and thin. That's your squad. That's the people you win with. Like this Urban Royalty brand, that's the people we win with, because I know he's always had this vision, and I know he's wanted to put stuff out, and I know he's had his moments of trying to figure things out, but man, he never quit, and he's still trying to learn, and he's putting great stuff out. I got more stuff to show. Don't worry. Next week, I'm going to have a different outfit on, because that's just what we do, and I'm going to support him because I believe in his vision. And I know that if I were to go crazy on this podcast, he would call me up and tell me, bro, I don't know what you're doing, but this ain't it. And I know that if he decides to do something wild with his clothing line and it goes away from his vision, I'm going to call him up and be like, bro, what is wrong with you? You losing sight of what you said you wanted to work on. Find your people that find you accountable, but also are willing to ride with you even when it doesn't seem promising. They still believe in you, They still got faith in you. Stand strong with those people. But, um, we face a lot of different things each day. There's always something that comes up. There's moments in time where I feel like even the smallest inconveniences will try to take away your joy and take away your happiness, which is another thing that I'm thinking about is like from a faith perspective. We know that the minute we say, or when we decide that we're going to give our life to Christ, it is a beautiful moment. It is also very challenging because now the devil decides that they're going to throw everything in your way to try to distract you from every promise that God has given you. So no matter what you do, there's always going to be that moment of temptation. There's going to be that distraction. There's going to be that barrier of like, nah, you're going to self-doubt yourself if you get this far, right? Devil's going to throw every trick at you to try to get you to fall. But remember who fell and rose again. Remember who carried the cross, also known as your burdens, your sins, your downfalls, all the things that he knew you were going to do. He carried those with him. You know how mentally tough you have to be to say, I know what the end result is, but I'm still going to go all the way through this? Because ultimately what they tried to do to him was try to destroy him, and he still rose. Now, we can be Christ-like. I'm not saying that we gonna be God as in like supernatural form, but what I am saying is that he's gonna give us a spirit of faith and not fear, which means that no matter what we face, no matter what we deal with on a daily basis, we will also rise. Because no matter what the enemy tries to do to destroy us, if we keep our eyes on the one who has always had our best interests at heart, we will rise above it. But you got to have the faith to get there. You also have to have the mental toughness of knowing that these things are going to happen. It's not going to be perfect every single day. It's just not. There's going to be some days that are difficult than others. I think back to different stages in life where I always just felt like, man, wow. Can it get any worse than it? And then it does. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, yeah, I should probably keep my mouth shut. But it's like, I can think about certain moments in life where it looked dark, like moving into an apartment with no money and not sure of if I'm going to have groceries for the next 2 or 3 days. Knowing I got to hold on, but still trying to figure out how I'm going to survive those 3 days. And then not only being provided with money to keep in my pocket, but groceries that are going to last me 2 to 3 weeks. Not having a car for a certain amount of time and then having people that are like, don't worry about it. I'm in a good situation. I can get you from point A to point B. Not having reliable, support in certain jobs, and then finding that one person who comes in and says, hey, I understand you're struggling, but I got you. Like, I'm going to do my best to help you get through. And just, knowing that throughout the journey of life, it's always funny that when you feel like you're about to fall or you feel like it's almost sudden, like it's just over and you're not going to be able to move forward, there's always something or someone that comes along and gives you that extra boost to keep going. So I advise you to stay mentally tough in this process because, yeah, I know things are going to try to take you down and try to destroy you, but it tells you you're more than a conqueror. So when we weather the storm and we see the sun come up, just imagine how beautiful that's going to be. And think about all the stuff you had to go through. When everybody wanted you to quit, when everybody told you it wasn't worth it, when everybody told you that was a terrible dream and you shouldn't dream it, all those negative things that were said, and yet you still got to your destination because you didn't give up. God, that's so beautiful. I want that for you. I want that for you. I promise you I do. But you gotta have that. Gotta have that toughness. And a lot of times the reason why we don't have it is because we still struggle with not knowing who we are. So it's hard to be tough in something if you don't know who you are. It's hard to stay strong in something if you don't know, you know, where you're going or where you're headed. You gotta have faith in you. You gotta have faith that God is gonna get you to where you need to be. But you also have to have belief in yourself. That's why I tell you at the end of every episode that I believe in you. Now go believe in yourself. It is a step-by-step process. It is something that you will have to face daily. But that's the goal. Each day we get is a blessing. So let's use that to better ourselves. You failed yesterday. All right. Did you get back up? Cool. Are you able to see another day? All right. Let's keep moving. Oh, you went down that road and it didn't quite work out. You worked hard though. Yeah. You feel like you failed. No. We just going to use that work ethic to go toward the next thing that now has been revealed to us that this is where I need to be. Let's work on that. Let's keep going. Let's stay strong in that process. But that is I would say that's the gift and the curse, because when you can recognize it and you actually stay strong in it, it goes well. But if you aren't confident within yourself and you feel like no matter what you do, it's always going to be failure, you end up in a dark place. And I don't want you to go in the dark place. We've seen too many times where, people fall into these mental health battles and these struggles and depression and anxiety, and they let that control them. And that's, it's not something I would ever want to be in. That's why I try to do my best to not control it, but combat it as much as possible. But I also know some people, they face different things. And one thing I think that we also have to remember is that you don't know everybody's story. You can't judge them based on outside appearance. It's important to know that not everybody's story you're going to read, not everybody's story you're going to hear, but you should know that they do serve a purpose and they are fighting, and there is something greater out there. We just got to pray, hope, and believe that they can get there. If you can speak life into somebody, do that. If you can encourage somebody, do that. If you can be there as support, do that. Because sometimes we really need that shoulder to lean on. So I encourage you to use the light that has been given to you to shine on those who may feel like they're in a dark place, because you just might be the key that allows them to overcome what they may be facing and start their path in the right direction. A lot of this is what I'm trying to teach my son now. And we had a conversation. I think it was, I have a lot of conversations, obviously, but we had a conversation the other day about it, and he was just getting frustrated. And I understand, like, half of this is like hormones, half of this is just life in general. But the biggest piece I want to make sure that he gets is that no matter what he faces, he can still stand strong. It reminds me of the Bible, for I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's in Ephesians, when it's like, after you've done everything to stand, just stand. And it's like, after you have done everything that you could on your own, after you've tried to make it through, just stand. Because if you keep standing, God will keep providing. If you keep standing, you will still keep progressing. If you keep standing, there's nobody that can sit you down. There's no devil, no enemy, no obstacle, no roadblock that can stop you from standing. Because if you continue to stand on solid ground, standing on your faith, watch how far you can go with just that posture of standing and facing the things that come your way. And I know it's tough. Nobody likes to face things that make them feel uncomfortable or feel down, or, like, I know I've there's been a couple times where that's happened to me, and I feel like, I go back to younger me where I like shrink and I think, oh my gosh, like, this is happening, that's happening, and people are gonna think this, and I'm not gonna do this, and I I I made a terrible decision, and will people forgive me? What do people think about me? It's like, whoa, like, let's analyze the situation for what it is. What can you learn from? Are there things that are there decisions you had to make? Are there things that you could change? Now, how do you grow in the next position? You just continue to keep doing that every single day. Some days you'll get it right. Some days you may need an additional lesson or two, but with all days, it's a blessing just to be able to recognize it. So let's not give up on ourselves or the days that are given to us. We don't know, what I'm saying? Nothing is ever promised, but we should still be grateful for what we do have. And I think that is another form of mental toughness. When, if the water not working and the light's not on and you don't have food but you got clothes, or if the heat's out but you got something to cover yourself in, or if you don't have a car but you got reliable transportation, or you got legs to walk, or if you got people that can get you from point A to point B, or or if you're in a dire situation and it just seems like no matter what's happening, no matter where you go, no matter where you turn, it just seems to be like you just stuck in that in a in a room with no door. And yet here comes this miracle that happens that shows you, we were just looking the wrong way, or we were addressing the situation in a different way, or we just didn't have all the tools needed at the time, but we stayed strong and we persevered and we realized that at some point we'll make it through. And then we did. Like, that's a blessing within itself. And so the challenge is that every day it's not easy, but with each day you get is just learning to love yourself, learning to believe in yourself, and trusting that everything that you're going to experience is going to build you into the person that God has intended you to become. And all of those things that are unique to you on your journey are going to be beneficial for somebody else who's starting their journey, or somebody who may have lost their way, or somebody who just needs additional support. Remember the light that you have and the light that radiates off you. That helps people. You know how they say hurt people hurt people? Well, people who know how to help people. And they extend their hand to make sure that those people don't go through the same things that they went through, in order that they can be successful, which allows you to be even more successful, which once again just grows our kingdom. So it's like, take time this week to analyze yourself and ask yourself, when situations arise and when things occur, what do I do? Am I strong in certain areas? Am I patient in certain areas? Or do I become very irrational and I just kind of lose sight of things? What do I need to do to calm myself down? How do I get myself back to being grounded and being able to see it face to face and go, okay, time to take one step. And now that I've conquered this part, now take the next step. So it's like all those things play a factor in who we are and who we become. But the one thing that you can never do, and the one thing that I will continue to stress, no matter how dark it gets, no matter how hard it is, no matter what you're facing, I have to stress this, and I can't stress it enough, is that you cannot give up on yourself. There's so many people that you don't know that you're inspiring. There's so many people that are counting on you to cross the finish line. There's people that you thought maybe you didn't, have a good run in with them, and yet they're still inspired by something you do. You're an inspiration to somebody. You are motivation to somebody. So I really need you to just stay mentally strong, mentally tough, and allow yourself to grow. And in each season, take something that's going to help you become the person you need to be. And you just keep doing the best that you can, because people are watching and people are rooting for you. Some you'll know about, some from a very far distance. But there are people that want to see you succeed. I'm one of them. And when you do, whether it's told to you or not, those people are going to benefit from watching the steps that you took. So I need you to be successful and stay mentally strong through everything that you face, okay? I know it gets difficult. I know. Sometimes you want to cry. Thug it out and cry. I know sometimes you want to hide. It's okay to isolate and just analyze. I'm not going to tell you to do anything out of the ordinary, but when you take that time to calm down and you come back up, just remember that you are strong and courageous. The word says so. So if the word says it, can't nobody take that from you, all right? So my task this week is for you to stay strong, to be strong and courageous, to understand that, yeah, I know every day is not going to be perfect, but you will overcome it. You've already defeated all of the days that have tried to destroy you and tried to make you feel bad because you're still standing. You're undefeated in those days, which means that if you continue to stay strong and continue down the right path, you will be successful. You will grow and you will be mentally tough. And that means that the others around you that are watching you navigate this whole thing, not only are going to be so proud of you, but they're going to be inspired to do the same thing. So go shine your light. Go be great. Stay mentally tough. And remember always that I believe in you. Go believe in yourself, all right? See Overthinking Thoughts Pod. I'm Ed. We out.
These thoughts up in my head. Things I never did. I took some L's, but I'm still here. I got these thoughts up in my head. I toss and turn about some things I never said. I got regrets about some things I never did. I took some risks and took some L's, but I'm still here. And I know. And I know.